Hey everybody, how's it going? Icy Cat here, and today I've got some exciting new information for Ghost Recon Wildlands fresh out of Gamescom. We have new details regarding customization and Gunsmith. Want to know more about it? Then stick around. This trailer was released today out of Gamescom, and I'm just going to let this play in the background and loop as many times as it needs to. It's all about how you can customize pretty much anything in the Ghost Recon game. There's two major systems at play that are being covered here. One is the Character Smith system, and the other is the Gunsmith system. Let's begin with Character Smith. When you start up the game, you actually will do this right away. You will create your character. You can customize your face, your gender, your hair, hat, the top that you're wearing, any tattoos that you're wearing. You can customize the pants and the shoes. They say there's over 1 billion possible combinations of these, so you should really be able to dial in your operator to how you want it to look. You'll be able to create your character as either a male or a female. All are fully animated and dubbed by gender. Now the animation is really important too, because you will have a female character model that will walk differently than a male character model. Their hips swing differently, they move in different ways. So it sounds like the motion capture will be specific to each gender, and that's going to be a really good thing to see. They do mention that they use preset faces. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. If they're talking about the Division where you had like 5 male faces to choose from and like 4 or 5 female faces to choose from and that was it, I mean, you're going to have a lot of people that look like a lot of other people. I hope that they go deeper than that. If they're using only presets, I hope that there's way more than just what was shown in the Division. Of course, presets could mean that there are presets and then you can maybe tweak those presets once you get them in. Maybe, you know, you choose a preset and then you can modify parameters of it, perhaps the eyes and the nose, mouth, whatever. That would be great to see. Maybe the presets are just a template to start from. Maybe there's presets and full customizations, or maybe there's no customization. There's just, like the Division is, just a certain amount of faces and that's it. In regards to the clothing, they say there's over 30 patterns and variations across camos and, you know, different material types and things like that. You can also unlock more gear as you progress, so you'll be able to start with a pool of items to choose from to set up your character. And as you go deeper into the game, you'll either unlock or find through progression more items to add to that pool. The Character Smith system can be accessed by menu at any point in the game. So once you've created your character, you're not necessarily locked into some of these things that you've set up. They don't specify whether or not you can change the actual features of your character, like as far as like if you want to change their face preset or if you want to change their gender in game, if you can do that. That could possibly be locked once you've initially set it up, but definitely you'll be able to go in and change like the clothing or the outfits and the accessories that you're wearing at any time that you want while you play the game. It sounds like you don't have to go back to like a base of operations or like to a specific NPC in a town to do that or something. It sounds like you can do that at any time that you want to as you find items. They also say they have dozens of preset outfits to choose from, so you can quickly load up your character with a certain kind of look or a style. However, as you mix and match and change things the way you want, you can save up to 6 custom presets for outfits, and then you can select these and change into them whatever. So if you have certain outfits that you want to use, you know, maybe you have outfits based on terrain and now you're going into this next terrain and you want it to be this, you know, woodland camo as you're going through the forest or the jungle, you swap into that. And then as you come into a town, if for the sake of immersion you want to then be dressed in like jeans and a t-shirt and a baseball cap, then you select that outfit and then you look like you're, you know, more like you belong in a town or something. It's unknown if these types of things have any kind of impact on gameplay. For instance, if you are wearing some ridiculous orange outfit with a yellow hat and red shirt and green shorts or pants or something like that, you know, you're just all kinds of colors and very bright and obvious to see. I don't know if the game will actually respond to that in any way that like you're more visible, whereas if you're actually camouflaged by a certain type in a certain environment, if there's actually any kind of a concealment bonus to that or not. I would love it if there was. I don't know if they're going to go that in depth with it or not. It's probably just purely visual. And since the enemy types in this game are all AI based, it's probably not going to matter. Of course, we do know that there is an as of yet uncovered multiplayer function. We don't know what PvP will look like in this game, only that there's going to be something planned for it. They just haven't announced it yet, and hopefully we'll find out soon. So at least in that case, having a certain kind of camo customizations will come in handy when you're going up against live people. They also say that weather impacts clothes. Weather will make your clothes get dusty or muddy or wet, and the textures on the clothing themselves will actually reflect you kind of being more dirty and just beat up by your environment. All in all, it sounds like there's a lot here with the Character Smith customization system, and I can't wait to be able to create my setups for this. One thing that isn't mentioned is if you can apply these customization traits to your 3 AI operators that are working with you. If you're playing in the solo campaign, you have the rest of the team filled out by AI operators. So can you customize them as well? That's an unknown quantity at this time. But we do know that it has been confirmed that however you create your character when you play cooperatively with other players, their customization will come into your game. So if you want to bling yourself out in some crazy, ridiculous outfit, or if you want to go in the opposite direction and be super tactical and very, military realistic, whatever you want to do, when you go play with your buddy, they're going to see the amount of customization you put into your character, and that will give you the ability to kind of show off, your newest outfit or your newest design or style or whatever, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. Next up is the Gunsmith system. We knew that Gunsmith was returning from Future Soldier, and we've been very excited about it, but we haven't had a lot of information so far. And as you've seen, it's been looping in the background here, so I'm going to go over some of this stuff. But they say there's more than 50 weapons, 50 plus weapons in this game. These weapons are not based on class, so you don't have to be like, oh, there's a sniper class and I can't use this because I'm not a sniper. There are no classes in the game, so anybody can access any of the 50 weapons. Of course, everybody has the ability to have 2 primaries and 1 secondary. So you should be able to have yourself covered for just about any situation. You'll be able to have, kind of like that more stealthy weapon and that more aggressive weapon, or the more long-range weapon and the more CQC weapon. However it is you want to load out your character, you should be ready to go. In the beginning of the game, you will get a certain amount of pool of weapons and attachments to choose from. However, as you progress throughout the game, you will unlock more. Whether that's that you find these weapons and items in the game, or that you reach a certain level and then it automatically unlocks in an inventory, or we're not sure what the actual system used to unlock is, but as you progress through the game, you will get a wider pool of these things to choose from. Like the Character Smith, Gunsmith is available at any time in the menu system. So if you want to make a change to a gun, you don't have to go back to a base of operations, you don't have to go back to a certain character in a certain town to do it. You can immediately pull it up in your menu system and swap out your components and customize your gun as needed. The Gunsmith system has stat comparisons, so at a glance you can see the following values. There's damage, accuracy, handling, range, rate of fire, noise reduction, and penetration. Now it could actually go beyond that, those were just the examples that they've shared with us. They also list the fact that there's exotic weapons. Now this could be concerning depending on what they mean by exotic. If we mean something silly and goofy, then I don't know how interested I am in that. What I'm hoping it actually refers to is just non-traditional weapon categories. They did list their, sort of base ones, the assault rifle, sniper rifles, shotguns, handguns, those kinds of things, submachine guns. The base classes are all covered, so maybe by exotic weapons they mean some things that kind of fit into like an other category. This would be things like a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher, maybe some kind of an anti-material rifle, or just more unconventional weaponry. I hope that that's what they mean by exotic. Of course, weapon skins are part of what we'll see in Gunsmith. You've seen that in the video playing in the background. But an interesting piece of information is that you have the option to apply a skin to the entire gun or just to parts of it. Now, I'm not sure what specific parts that breaks down into and how detailed you can get with that, but that's really cool. But even more interesting than that is that your paint job ages as you play. The more you play with it, over time, you will begin to accumulate dust and scratches and grease and dirt and grime on your weapon's paint job. It will actually begin to deteriorate and like chip away or peel away over time. And that's really cool. And you can then have the option to clean and repair it at any time in the menu system. The Gunsmith system will have over 100 attachments. We've got things like scopes, magazines, stocks, barrels, silencers, grips, underbarrel launchers. I mean, there's even more. They say there's over 10,000 possible attachment combinations. Some attachments will be things you can interact with while they're on the gun. So you might have things like a variable zoom scope. You could have something where you choose like a fire select mode, so you can switch between fully automatic or semi-automatic, or maybe a 3-round burst option or something like that. So you'll have a fire select module that you can change out if you want on some guns. Of course, we already know that silencers are something you can interact with. You can put them on or remove them at any time as you play. So some attachments you'll be able to interact with. Let's take a closer look at some of these examples here. These have been playing in the background, but let's just take a few freeze frames. So here, this 4-man lineup shows us a few different possible combinations of sights. On one operator, we can see they have like an ACOG scope on it. The next operator has what looks to be like maybe a variable scope, or at least a high power scope anyway for long range. The next one has what looks like possibly a red dot sight. And then on the end there looks like maybe some kind of an iron sight system on that gun. Also, if you note in the magazines there, we have what looks like a drum magazine. And then over on the left-hand side there, we can see what looks like a fast mag pull system. So that's a little loop on the bottom of the magazine that you can use to extract the magazine more quickly and swap out a new one. It should make for a slightly faster reload time. Now let's look at this setup. I'm not sure exactly what we're seeing here, but we have what looks like 2 sights on the same gun. We can see clearly that there's like some kind of a red dot sight set up on there, but then off to the side of that, further back behind it, it almost looks like that's either like maybe a flip sight that folds in back behind that other one, or maybe it's a side mounted sight and it's just like maybe some kind of a magnification based sight. It looks like it would be low power if it is a magnification based sight, but somehow it looks like we have actually 2 sights on the same gun. That's really interesting. Now, if we take a look at this one, they're showing a little bit of the modularity of the Gunsmith system. This is not what Gunsmith actually looks like in game. This is just sort of a graphic-based representation for purposes of the video. But you can see here, we've got all these systems laid out. We've got the stock, we've got the sight, there's a laser system, there's the barrel, the upper receiver, there's a muzzle brake or some kind of a compensator attachment there on the front. We've got the angled foregrip, there's the lower receiver, and internals, as well as the magazine setup. So just on this one gun alone, there's all these different modular systems that can be swapped out and changed. Here's an example of that in the gameplay footage. So we've got this SCAR that's set up. It has an ACOG on it, a long barrel, a muzzle brake. It has a fixed stock with a fast mag. So now we add an accessory rail and then put on an underbarrel launcher. You'll see it also gets an extended magazine. There's an EOTech hollow sight on it. It gets a shorter barrel and a different style. The stock has been completely removed. This has gone from being a long-range gun to a short-range, high-impact CQC weapon. You've completely changed the way this weapon is designed to be used from one example to the next. There's a lot of customization information to be excited for here. And while this trailer looks really great and has me very hyped for it, I actually can't wait to see what it looks like in-game using these systems, especially the Gunsmith system. I can't wait to see what it actually looks like in-game. As mentioned before, there is some kind of a multiplayer-based PvP sort of a system that they will have in play. They haven't said anything about it yet. Gamescom is all this week, so maybe it'll come out over the next couple of days, or maybe they're waiting for a future event. We'll have to wait and see on that. But whenever that information or other new information gets covered, I'll definitely be covering it here. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all that latest news and information. Additionally, you can follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.